Hey guys, it's Sam. Impromptu little planner chat here. Like I said, unplanned. So I've got a kid playing with her computer in the background and I don't have my thoughts together. Don't expect for this to be cohesive in any way. Not that my videos are ever like scripted or anything, but sometimes I go above and beyond and come up with some points. And I have a couple of videos actually that I have planned out, and then every time I like get really settled in something and I start like a video that I think is going to be helpful to other people, I end up abandoning ship with what I'm doing, and then I'm like, why should I share this anyway? Because I have no idea what's going on with my life. That being said, I just kind of, I don't know, I started to do like a reel to show how much I was like enjoying Moleskine, which is still going to happen because I'm absolutely adoring these planners. But I also have this like side hustle with rings again, and I love so much about both of these systems that I don't want to give anything up, but I also can't hold down like all kinds of planners. So something has to give here, and I'm not sure what that is going to be. But yeah, I just thought that I would share with you what I'm loving about each of these books, each of these systems, and maybe it'll be helpful to someone, maybe it'll be helpful even to me, but I'm just going to talk through it. For right now, it's crazy. I set up my Hobonichi Weeks and I was like sad that it wasn't in my lineup, and so I went ahead and like put all the stickers down. I was like, this is going to be great, and I haven't been able to pick it up and use it. I don't have it here because it's tucked away. I also was going to use the Annie Plans or Estelle dupe, and I got it all out and ready to set up, and then I didn't feel like using that either. And I don't know if it's just like the size, the shape, what about it, but I'm not feeling inspired to use that book right now, so I'm not feeling guilty about that at the moment. What I am loving is Moleskine, and I know that there is a big divide in the planner community about how people feel about the paper and all of that. I love the paper. Like, that paper for me is just like everything right now, and I just keep choosing the Moleskine planners and notebooks over and over again because of that. Actually, I haven't opened it yet because it's quite large for me, but I even found this for like $10. Yep, $10 at Marshall's. And I thought that the color was really pretty, but the notebook size is very large for me personally. I will make use of it. It's like this beautiful blush going into brown, and I just think it's gorgeous. And I had no use for it, but I picked it up as we often do. We know that we love a brand or a company or a paper, and we just can't help ourselves. It was literally, there was like two of them there, and one looked like the plastic was coming off of it and it looked a little rough. So I just picked the one that looked the most pristine, and I'll find a use for it at some point. I think that I've talked about these notebooks recently, but I'll just go ahead and get into them and show you how I'm using them. I set this up the other night. I do have a cover for it, but I kind of wanted to not share it in a cover. I was kind of perplexed. I ordered this. This is from Hand Stitch Leather Tea. I absolutely adore their notebook covers. I ordered this and it's made specifically for the pocket, but I was intending for it to go with the pocket daily. And although you might be able to get it to work, I haven't been able to get it to work, and I can't bring myself to like cut off that elastic, because one thing that I love about these notebooks is that you don't have to have them in a cover. They have that built-in elastic closure, and if you buy one of those pen loops for it, it becomes a standalone. You don't have to spend any money extra at all to make this your planner or notebook or journal, it closes. And that's like my biggest thing about having a cover, is that if I toss it in my bag, the pages don't become damaged. So this is like on its own everything you need. But because I like leather, I bought this intending it to go with this particular notebook. But oh, is it gonna work now that I've got it? Oh my gosh. No, wait, I think that it doesn't go in far enough or something. I think I've tried this. Yeah. See, I got all excited for nothing. So I feel like there's room here, and I don't know if it's the elastic holding it up or what, but I'm not gonna like take the time for this video to like whatever. But anyway, I bought this particular notebook because I wanted it to go with the daily, which I have intents to use as a journal, but I haven't written in it yet because I didn't realize I was ordering a hardcover. And when it came, I was like, well, this will be fine in my room or whatever, but I really wanted it to go with this cover, which hadn't arrived at the time yet. And then this arrived and I realized it wasn't going to work with the hardcover, and I was like, I didn't mean to order the hardcover to begin with, but I can't find a soft cover. So here I am not writing in this yet because I'm like unsure about what I'm going to do. I'll probably just have to use this without a cover, which is fine because I'm not ever going to share it or take it really anywhere, so it's whatever. But you know, when you have a plan for something and it doesn't work out, at least for me, I'm not as go with the flow as I would like to be, but here we are. This 12-month is just a tad big in this notebook cover, but it's fine. Now that I started putting things in it and I started writing in it, it's already just fine. It's not feeling like it's swimming in it or anything. And I always love to have a pen loop, and I always love to have a pretty cover. So this is working just fine. The thing that I love about this particular size is that it's so portable. You don't have to carry a larger bag. And I just think all things pocket size are just adorable, and I love them. The downsides for this, I mean, this being a hardcover, not a huge deal since it's just my personal thoughts and all of that. But the downsides for this particular notebook, as a planner, there's very few notes pages in the back, and then the monthlies are very, very tiny, and it makes it really difficult to write anything in the monthlies. Alternative, pasting in other things, other calendars that you've purchased that will, I mean, you have some pages here that aren't going to be used, and you do have enough pages that you can cover up and make your 12 months work before you get to your weeklies. But you know, sometimes you just don't want to do that. I do have some things pasted in here. Let me see. One of them is like my cycle tracker, and the other one is something that I've put in my Hobonichi Weeks and other planners. It's a little bit sticky. I had one of those Avery like tabs here, and it's a little bit sticky, so it's sticking together. But I just have my recurring task. This is like my adulting checklist, and then a weekly tracker, which I wanted to use for scripture. And then right before it, I have pasted in like my cycle tracker. And those are the things that I feel like are really must-haves in a planner for me. And so if I'm going to have a planner that I'm going to love and use, then it's going to need to have those things added. So I've been using this one for several weeks, and I love it. I love it so much. But there's not a huge amount of space, and I kind of go between feeling like I need extra space when things are really busy to wanting to use as little space as possible. So this one doesn't work for me 24/7, 365 days a year always. I feel like I could probably make it work, but sometimes I just feel like I need to stretch out a bit. And that is where this planner comes in. And so this is the pocket size, and this is the large. Obviously this is not as large as it goes, because there are planners that are as big as the 8 by 10, I think is what they're considered, and I'm not sure honestly, if this notebook that I found at Marshall's is the same size as their largest, like extra large planner, I'm assuming that it is. But this one is large. I found this one at Target. I had purchased like a, I don't know if it was emerald green or something like that at Target, but then I was like, all of the rest of them are black and I wanted them all to match, so I returned it and I got this one instead. And I did set this one up the other day and decorate the inside, the soft cover one, with some stickers here. And then I added this from Alibi Design. She has like a 2023 dashboard set. So yeah, I just put those couple of things in, and then this one being hardcover, I think it lends kind of more towards the decorating that I'm used to in my Hobonichi weeks. So I've been hoarding a lot of stickers. A lot of these are from Redbubble. Most of these are from Redbubble. This one is not. This one is from a shop. And don't ask me where it is because I don't remember. But I just decided I was gonna go with it because this planner, although it is larger than the pocket size, obviously, I do not have it in a cover. I don't have intentions of having it in a cover. I do intend to add a pen loop because that's a must-have for me, and I can't seem to make other kinds of pen loops work, so I intend to put like one of those glue-in Leuchtturm pen loops into this planner. But this one is much easier to envision. If I had to have one planner without adding other stuff in, this one would fit the bill, I think, a little bit better even than the pocket. I just love all things pocket, so it makes it difficult. I haven't filled in all of these pages yet, but see how much more space you have. I think that it's just going to make it easier to use as a planner. And although it is larger, obviously much larger than the pocket size, if you don't have it in something, this is a really slim profile, and this is still going to fit into most of the bags that I carry on a daily basis. Not every single one of them, but it's very easy then to throw the information that you need into this and go at any time. So this one has a lot of space here, and the monthlies are still the one page, but this extra space that's made from the larger size, this is much more doable, in my opinion, to get like information down. Plus you have a good bit of space for notes at the bottom. I don't know how much I will or will not use that. I'm not a heavy monthly user, which is why the tiny months in the pocket isn't like a deal breaker for me, because I feel like I do most of my stuff on the weeks. So I have this, I've added all of the stickers to this one already, but for this one I still need to add them. I just started writing in birthdays, but I'd like to put, I'm not used to working in a place where you have like paid holidays, so I need to do that. And then I need to come back and use a highlighter. But I have written down my family birthdays and the one trip that I know for sure that we're going on this year. Moleskine, if you join the My Moleskine, they have some pages that you can print off and kind of add some more ruled pages. There's like a tracker that's a little bit similar to the one that you find in the front of the Hobonichi Weeks. But they have not updated those for 2023 yet, since it's the 8th of January. I'm not sure what they're waiting for, and I even inquired about that on the Instagram page, and the only answer that they gave me was to keep checking back. I don't really love that answer, but that's what I was given. So you can find printables to add in here to kind of make that, if you need trackers or whatever, you can paste things in, tip things in, and cover up these pages that I don't think are very useful. But I haven't done that yet. I've kind of been on the fence about this if this is going to be like my stay-at-home planner or if this is the one that's going to be coming with me. Right now I'm just kind of updating 2 planners at the same time. Well, I wish it were only 2. This is like my worst nightmare. This is not what I love to do. But look at all of the space that you have. It's the exact same layout. And that's the only thing that's like not stressing me out about using multiple planners right now, is that I'm using similar layouts in my planners. And so it's just kind of a quick transfer of information. But there's just so much more space here. I can realistically add my weekly tracker, add, you know, my meals and things that I feel like make me a little bit more productive for my week. This particular planner in the large size has enough room for me to do all of those things. Nothing feels scrunched. I can add some stickers in at the end of the week, or, you know, stickers to go with the thing that I'm doing and not feel like the page is overwhelmed, as it happens more easily with the pocket size. So this is feeling like probably my greatest contender for my main planner for this year, which was not anything that I expected. I had one of these last year as well, and I used it on and off as my work planner. I kind of ended up not using it. So this one was a surprise to me to be something more along the lines of, hey, this could be the one. I added some of the Avery clear, gosh, I have the package here somewhere. These are self-adhesive business card holders. I found them on Amazon. I'll put them in my links. And so that is really useful for adding the small stickers, which I guess is just going to depend on if either of these planners went out as like my main squeeze for the year. But I'm really, really loving this. And this paper, it's just so nice to me. I love it with all of my pens. It's not finicky like the Tomoe River paper. And some people, you know, there is the ghosting. I don't think that it's fountain pen. I don't know if it's not fountain pen friendly, but I'm not really huge into fountain pens right now. I spent a lot of money on finding the right pen, finding the right ink, and I'm just feeling kind of about them right now. So my particular focus isn't about fountain pens, but I am still in love with the Sarasa vintage, especially this camel color. And it has been a love of mine for a really long time now. And now that I'm not in Hobonichi weeks, I use a Jetstream every day. I use it in my planners. I use it at work. And 0.7 is like my sweet spot at work, writing on like regular paper. The 1.0, which you can find at a lot of different stores. That's my sweet spot for using that at work. So the Jetstream, now that I'm not in my Hobonichi, has been a friend, which is a surprise to me in itself. But so Moleskine seems to be kind of where my heart is, where my happy place is. I just love these. I feel like with a couple of tweaks, there's just a couple of things that I wish that they would change, and there would be like no question about that. I really wish that this top space was gone, and that you had an even amount for every single day. And I even reached out to them on Instagram. They probably hate me. And I was like, the 18-month, especially in the pocket size, or any of these sizes really, these aren't thick books. If they made the 18-month size and just made it a 12-month calendar and put all of the rest of those pages as ruled pages for notes in the back, I think that it would make it an even more useful and functional planner on its own, without having to think about, I'll tuck in a notebook here or have a secondary, you know, spiral notebook with me at all times kind of thing. I think that if just a couple of tweaks were made, that this would be hands down one of the most popular planners out there today. That being said, I also really, really love the functionality of rings, and I've used rings for years and years and years now, like 14 years I've used rings, and I love them. And I had it all set up. I decided I was going to move from Pocket Plus or Pocket XL back to personal, but I do love the kind of squared feeling of the pages when you have a pocket or an A6. I think I'm not really feeling the A6 right now, but I'm very torn. And so this is where kind of my hang up is right now. I was using rings a lot over the Christmas season, just making really dumb lists. But they were things that made me feel like I was, you know, getting what I needed to get done, all of the shopping that I needed to do, the last minute stuff. And so I went in and I set up my rings in personal size for 2023. And then I was like, I don't want to be taking the pages out. Oh yeah, I forgot. I glued these things together because I don't like the backs being blank. So I went and got all of my stuff ordered and printed out and cut and punched. And then I wasn't happy with my weekly, which this seems really dumb because it's like the same thing. But when it comes to rings, I really like having this particular layout from Peanuts Planner Co. The only thing that I would like to change about this kind of layout is I would rather this just be a large section of line to have a running to-do list, because especially when it comes to pocket, and personal rings is also kind of skinny, which is where I thought I was really gonna be the A6 girl. You have a little bit more width in the A6. I have A6 planners. I'm not getting rid of them because I never know what I'm gonna move back to, and that's a lesson that I've learned. I have some weeks things that I need to purge. It's not going to be my main planner, I don't think, this year, but I'm not going to get rid of every single cover that I love because I just might go back into it. And so I've learned this lesson in my life, but right now I go back and forth between wanting rings because it makes it so easy to have to-do lists and to change your mind and to add things and to take things away. Now it's just kind of a matter of what size is going to be the size, because I love that you have more room in a personal size, but I adore Pocket. I use Pocket Plus inserts. These are from last year, and I love how little this planner is. I like holding it. This particular cover, especially for Moterm, the Veg Tan, this one has nice pebbling. I will not get rid of this planner. I love it so much. If you have a pocket size from the new Moterm line, the Luxe specifically, I had a Honey and it was stiff and it didn't want to lie flat, and I didn't make friends with it, and I did part with it. If you have one in the, what is this one? I just got this one. This isn't the Luxe. This is the like regular personal size. So it's a little bit thinner than their Luxe line, which works just fine for me. But this one is the caramel. So if you have like honey or caramel that has pebbling on it and a pocket that you're not going to hold on to, I would love to buy that from you while I get my life together. So I have this one in the caramel and I have it in a black, but it's smoother than this one and I don't love it as much. But I'm not ready to get rid of it just yet. It literally just arrived. So I'm trying to figure everything out before I start parting with things. But you can see a theme here. I'm really into, this is Papaya from Hand Stitch Leather Tea, and it's a beautiful warm brownish, it's between a brown and a rust color, and this caramel is lovely too from Moterm. So I'm kind of in the whole, this is a favorite tone for a neutral for me, and then black is always classic and beautiful and goes with everything. So I got that going on. So if I can get my life together and figure out if I'm going with personal size or Pocket Plus for my rings, or maybe I'll just have this the experiment year part 2, because last year I felt like I used all of the things, and then I forced myself into pocket rings with Pocket Plus inserts for one entire month, and then I ended up using it for almost half the year. So I know that it doesn't have all of the space, but I also know that it can work for me. It's really just about which of these two I end up like reaching for more than the other. But I'm very torn at the moment between the whole bound book and rings. And what I find, and what I was kind of surprised about, is I'm very busy at work, and I don't find myself in a space, at least in the winter, where I'm not going into like a restaurant to eat lunch. I'll eat in my car just to get away from work. And so since I'm not sitting at a table or whatever, I don't find myself like planning in my car very often. I'm feeling like I need to rush back to work because I don't always even get an hour, and I'm used to always having an hour of lunch. So I find myself not picking my planner up all of that much at work. I'm oftentimes just bringing a dumb composition book and doing all of my really sloppy menu planning. This is embarrassing, but I mean, it's been rained on, it's had stuff poured on it. My husband and I work together. I put recipes in here so that he doesn't have to like look it up in Pinterest or whatever, because most of the time he's at least starting our dinner before I get home, and most of the time finishing it too. So it's like a helpful thing for us, but I could also do that in rings from work. So rings would be good for that. All of the lists, the stuff that you don't want to keep. And honestly, I don't have a huge amount going on in my life. So it might very well end up being that a ring planner is what comes with me during the day, and this ends up being the memory planner that I intended my Hobonichi weeks to be. Because I feel like I'm over it. And if I pick it back up and I start using it, there are things about the Hobonichi that I miss. But this is practically the same layout, and it doesn't have any lines or grids on this side, which has always irked me, but I don't find the paper as finicky, so I feel like even though it doesn't have the lines, that I'm able to write without them and not feel like it's super messy. And then these aren't tiny, and that makes me happy because I don't have tiny handwriting, and I feel like I have room to stretch out. And if it's not a busy week, the pocket is plenty of room, but even on a busy week, this large size is lots of room. And I have room for washi, and I have room for stickers, and I have room for a photo or whatever. And this is the layout that I'm used to and I love. With rings, I feel like it's really good for me to have that more vertical layout that I have with the Peanuts Planner Co. inserts, because like I've said before, I don't have as much going on specific days, and that I can easily have a daily insert. No matter which of these planners I ultimately choose, I have the ability to just slap a daily in there, and if it's not a memory, it was just a busy day of errands, I don't have to keep that. So I think it's going to be the year of book bound and rings sharing the spotlight together. It's just going to be which one ends up like going out with me for the day. Rings seems like it might win that battle just because I don't have to worry about it. But it's really nice just picking up this little tiny book too and tossing it in my bag. And it's really nice to just be able to pull this out at work and not have to worry about pulling an insert out of rings or trying to work around the rings, which is always kind of irritating. But then I don't want to make this not look nice. So we will see. There's like so many things that I thought I was going to use and do this year, and I feel like it ended up not being any of them except for this book as a journal. I feel like that's the only thing that has worked the way that I intended it to. And I think that a lot of it, and I mentioned this on Instagram, that I think a lot of the problem with this is that we now have way too many options. Some of that is good and some of that is not, in my opinion. So you're going to probably see a lot of things from me on my social media feed, you know, in Instagram. I try to do the whole TikTok thing, but it's not my preference. I'm not in love. I don't share a lot of pictures in Facebook groups anymore. I'm just generally on Instagram, but you're probably going to see, I don't know, in one given day, you might see all of these planners on one day. I'm okay. I'm really okay. I'm just trying to figure it out. I love all of the things, and I would like to get down to a thing that does the things that I needed them to do. But I feel like sometimes I'm trying to put things into too small of a box. And all of these things work for me for one reason or another. And I'm probably going to have one or two of them that win out over others. But for now, I find a reason for all of these to be in my lineup. That doesn't mean I'm going to be updating them all daily, weekly, maybe even monthly. I don't even know. Some of these may be half blank by the time the year is over. But as long as I'm enjoying them in the moment, I think that that's all that matters. I've had a lot of really kind and helpful comments recently, both here and on Instagram, just saying, just use what you love when you're using it and don't even worry about it. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm hoping that there's something in this video that was helpful for you. I know that a lot of people are struggling with the same thing, so I'm here for you too. I'd love to leave you some supportive comments back if you leave me a comment either here on Instagram. This video went a little longer than I thought it was going to, so I know people don't like that either. I'm just tired of worrying about it. I don't care. If you want to unfollow me because I'm not using a Hobonichi Weeks right now, Godspeed. I'm just living my life. So anyway, I'm going to end it here because it's already gone longer than I thought that it was going to. But thank you if you've stayed around, for sticking it out, and my thought process. Hopefully it was helpful. I don't know. Maybe you have your life more together and you had fun laughing at me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And if you'd like to see more of my content, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you hate me, give me a thumbs down. It's all good. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks, guys.